welcome to the fourth and final review of the evening. Up this time is Jardinians, which
It's French for garden dwarfs. So presumably it's Jardinains or Jardana or something like that. But yeah, go ahead.
bring that up on Friday. But anyway, so in spite of the title here, those are the lawn gnome looking things in the game.
Yeah.
But in terms of what this game actually is, well, it's a brick breaker game. Like, um, so yeah, it's a descendant of Breakout, Arkanoid, what have you. And this game in particular was assigned to Twilight Winter. So over to him to find out what this game does in addition to the typical brick breaker things.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, though. So, um, I just say there really isn't that much different from the usual Brick Breaker game, Breakout, whatnot. Though the one thing that really does set it apart that I've noticed is that yeah, in each of the levels that you play through, you're being attacked by the Jardinians, whatever you want to call them, the um, who throw flower pots at you or jars. Uh, yeah, flower pot jars, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, so that in a way where their names were come from in this case. Yeah, they're called the. Well, they're not actually called Jardinians. They're actually in universe, whatever you want to call it, the Ninians. And the jars part of it, yeah, it's kind of odd, honestly. But yeah. So you're trying to avoid having the jars fall on you. Well, if you get hit, you lose points. So that's about it. Not much more beyond that. Otherwise, you're bouncing a ball. You're shooting a ball off your paddle. For some reason, it keeps spawning on the left side of your paddle. For some reason, I'm not sure why. So you have to kind of angle your ball in a the left direction, and while breaking the blocks, occasionally you'll get power ups and not power ups. um, Power up wise, you get like projectile weapons helps break the blocks. They'll range from firework type things to like rockets, an ice gun. There'll be some dual guns they can get. So yeah, they're pretty handy. There are others that like can turn your ball into a fireball. Helps breaks more blocks. You'll even be able to spawn more balls to bounce around and keep up with. So yeah, the some of the usual things that you'll find in some other breakout games. There's otherwise the usual shrinking your paddle debuffs, the reverse controls. Yeah, you can pretty well imagine if you played other breakout type games, you're likely pretty familiar with these sorts of power ups and depower ups. Yeah, the general goal of the game is you have a select few courses, say, different types of courses you can select from. There's the three flower-based ones: daisy, hydrangea, rose. I can't really tell you the exact difference between those three. Notice that daisy seems to have more of a wider variety of level types. Hydrangea seems, from my experience, to be more about blocks that can cause your ball to teleport or bounce off and such. Rose, as far as I could tell, was more about having to hit blocks multiple times before you can break them. Beyond that, there really wasn't too much of a difference in their designs and the blocks that you dealt with. Um,
I will say that as far as like brick breakers that elaborate on what brick breakers do, this seems to have a pretty diverse set of elaborations without, say, completely turning the game into an RPG.
yeah, indeed. Yeah, I do have to say that some of the levels here are more creative than most breakout games I've played, at least. I haven't really played that many breakout games myself, so I don't really dislike them, but I never could really get into them
I mean, I think for
myself.
most purposes, you generally only need about one.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, the other set of levels, there's so the other two, well, the other three you can select from. There's originals and classics. Those two, originals and well, classics. I'll bring that one right up right quick. Yeah, the this game was originally made back in 2001, I believe, and this is a remake of a game from back in like 2001, the same name. And the classics levels is basically the original courses from the original game. Uh, so you have those you can play through. There's like 150 of them. The first three I mentioned are 50 each. Originals, I'm assuming it's supposed to be based off of the classics, just new ones, and they can play through. Otherwise, then funny, there's endless, and that's obviously um, you have an endless number of courses you can go through or levels. I keep calling them courses for some reason. Um, yeah, you can choose to skip a level if you want to. Um, but yeah, your goal in this game is basically just get as high of a score as possible. You're going to be judged by the number of lives you use, the amount of time, and your score, basically. Um, you can adjust the difficulty of the game to how you like, which I thought was pretty nice. Play style. You can adjust the the level challenge, how many lives you get. I'm really not sure how many lives you can actually and give yourself. It's quite a lot actually. Um, and of course, the game speed, how fast the ball moves, basically. Um, and there's also like an accessibility option as well, that helps with people with uh, basically it's a pretty handy thing to have. I'm not gonna attempt to actually go over that. Um, so yeah, it's a breakout game with the additional feature of having gnomes throw flower pots at you. Um, and if you're up for that, yeah, say give this game a go. Before I get into more like pricing and such, visuals, visualize the breakout game. with fairly nice graphics. Um, the um, the gnomes are well animated. And yeah, everything goes well. It's very colorful and such. Yeah, there's not really much. Um, it's as good as breakout games this day can look, unless you want to go 3D with your visuals.
3D Breakout would be hard.
Indeed, I say just the 2D, 3D style. Yeah, probably it'll be best for breakout to say 2D. But yeah, um, audio wise, let's see here. This game actually has some pretty good music. Actually, it's actually really catchy. Um, I can't really say much more beyond that, but it's actually quite nice to listen to while I'm playing the game. The uh, the gnomes themselves actually have a bit of voice acting. They're obviously really high pitched, squeaky voices that may or may not get on your nerves. Rarely things like that ever do, but I actually found their laughter after a while to actually get kind of annoying. They kind of taunt you and wave at you, so well, doing a hello type sound.
Well, these aren't just high-pitched garden gnomes. These are high-pitched French garden gnomes.
That's true. Yeah. um, those yeah, it's only really the laughter that actually kind of annoyed me some when you lose. Otherwise, their voices didn't really bother me all that much. Actually, it was really whenever the whole bunch of them all at once, they kind of annoyed me. Just one or two, three of them, yeah, didn't bother me all that much, really. Um, but that's just me, though. So, so yeah, it's got good music. It's enjoyable to listen to while playing the game. So, yeah, so that takes us to pricing. Jardinians is $14.99. That makes it $15. Is it worth it at that price? I'd say for the amount of levels you're getting out of it, let's say, I guess 15 is good. This is basically going to come down to, do you like Breakout? And but want to play Breakout with French garden gnomes throwing pots at you? I mean, from my experience, the game's good. I'm just um, not that big of a Breakout fan myself, so that's just me. So I can recommend this if you like Breakout or not. Otherwise, if you're not the biggest fan of Breakout, then I guess wait for a sale. Otherwise, yeah, it's down to the player. They want to get it or not. I say $15 with a number of levels. If you really like Breakout, I can recommend it. Otherwise, yeah, wait for a sale. So, anybody got any questions?
Nope.
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
All right then. Well, that's it for me.
Okay. So yeah, that'll about do it for not just this review, but our review session. So the week ahead, we do have two shows to do this week. On Wednesday, May 5th, we'll be welcoming back an old friend as Rebecca Berger Becky Heineman from Old School Publishing will be back on the program. It's been a few years. In fact, I think the last interview we did with her was not even on Fragments was the MSP interview. And I think an interview came before any of our things. Actually, not the truth, but splitting hairs at this point, I suppose. Anyway, we will be talking about their old school, and in this term, literal old school, because this is a game that's being developed for like 8-bit computers. Modern systems too, but it's being Lawless Legends. It's an adventure game that's being built for the Apple II, Commodore 64, and modern systems. This isn't the first time we've had a game like this on the program. We've highlighted some other games that have, like built for the NES or Genesis. Like when we had Collector Vision Games on the program, they talked about that thing, or Megacat Studios. But I think this is the first time we are covering like an old school computer game. So that'll be interesting to cover, especially like we're probably going to get into the old school technical specifications, because like Burger Becky likes that kind of stuff. So I'm personally looking forward to this, though not sure how much a modern audience would be, but press onward we will. And on Friday, May 9th, Friday, May 7th, we'll be having Thomas Darby of Magic Chopstick Games. Who are the developers of the game we literally just reviewed here. Like, Jardinians. They're also the developers of, if anyone here remembers Obliteracy that we covered a few years back. So that's happening on Friday. Had you do this, Twilight, because you're not going to be here on Friday, so anyway, that is the week ahead. And also another reminder, this Wednesday marks the return of Last News on the Left. So that will be happening. As far as what we'll be talking on the program, that's always fluid until like the day of the show, because that's kind of how politics works in this current day and age. Like we've had it before where what we were going to talk about changed on that very day, on the day after the promo goes up, because something might happen on Wednesday afternoon that will impact what we talk about Wednesday night. So it goes. Anyway, until Wednesday, I shall wish you good gaming.